morning. Thank you so much for joining us today for our virtual Meet the Primes event. We're excited because this is something new and a creative initiative just to help our existing suppliers continue to be involved, understand what's going on around the country related to opportunities. And we're here to help to engage and connect people and suppliers to each other. With that said, I'll be reading off my script, but again, welcome. Today's Supplier Diversity event is possible due to our partners who continue to support our efforts to engage small businesses. We have found a great partner in the MBTA, and we cannot thank them enough for their support, the City of Springfield and surrounding Western Mass communities. Today, through the Engagement Forum, we have an excellent opportunity to share information and build relationships. There's something very important I'd like to share this morning. Before we get started, I am proud to announce that today's forum is dedicated in memory of one of our partners from the MBTA, Kenrick Clifton. I'll tell you, he is a true champion of diversity, never mind supplier connectivity to opportunity. He passed away last Friday suddenly, and it's clearly a huge loss for all of us. We're fortunate to have known Kenrick for years, working with us on this MBTA Orange and Red Line project. In his role as Assistant Director of the MBTA Office of Civil Rights, Kenrick passionately advocated for inclusion and engagement of women and minority businesses in MBTA projects, including ours. We're all connected to Kenrick as he worked to ensure businesses like yourselves provided opportunity. If you'd like to join us for a moment of silence, it would be great. Thank you. Now let's move to the program, beginning with the steps on how to participate. I'm sure most of you, because it's been 2 years, are aware of these processes. So again, if you have a question, we want to do the questions in 2 phases, not take them as you might hear something and then raise your hand or put something in the chat box. Let's do it where we have questions after a slide presentation. Eamon will allow that and facilitate that. And then also at the end, let's do questions because you may have been thinking about things as you're hearing the presentation. So let's see. Now we move to. Okay. Let's move to the agenda. Nothing lengthy. Today we'll have a message from President Wang, an update on CRRC's operations, and overall our next step on how we engage our discussion and slide presentations. With the support of President Wang, we have, together with all of you, our suppliers, worked through COVID and are successfully moving forward, and we're very proud of this. President Wang is very proud of our strides made and thanks you, our suppliers. While he could not attend today's event because he is in a MBTA directors meeting, he shares this note as he ensures that we are building cars in Springfield and gaining stabilization. So if you want to take a minute to read his comments, please do. Thank you so much. So moving on, Eamon Walsh, Director of Procurement, is here to complete the program. Thank you.
So good morning, everybody, and welcome to this event. And Lydia, thank you for that lovely lead-in. And I think just to endorse what Lydia has said, and if you've had chance just to take on board what Mr. Wong, our president, has stated in his note that he's given us, we truly do feel that this forum that we have is important. It's important to us all. We're obligated individually and as groups of people to improve our businesses, and we just want to use this as a catalyst for putting introductions on the table to our supply chain. Should you need any of the businesses that are presenting today, then we welcome that you speak to them if you're not using these businesses already. So if I may, partnerships. Partnerships are what make businesses succeed. Okay, CRRC at the moment, as you can see on the slide that's presented, this is not all of our suppliers, but we just wanted to show how we are using our suppliers across many states of the USA to build the cars for Boston and for the LA project. So everybody's important, and nearly every state is included in the supply chain. And I say that broadly because you, our main suppliers, have sub-suppliers. So I think it's safe to say that the majority of states within the USA will have an inclusion in these projects that we're building. Not only that, the percentage of Buy America and inclusion that we have in our projects is high. We've got targets that we need to reach, that we want to reach, and each of our suppliers has been part of the Buy America process as part of the projects that we are presently building. So that's a big thank you, and it's important that we maintain and improve that going forward. Thank you. Okay, so I would just like to give you, because this is a supplier forum, but I just want to give a quick overview of the projects. This will be swift, and if anybody's got any questions, they can ask me at the end of the session. This isn't designed to take over the meeting. So very quickly, the MBTA Orange and Red Line projects, the first projects to be built in Springfield. CRRC have got a very big workforce. We've got 332. I'm just doing a quick Lydia here and just checking that my figures are correct. So we've got a workforce presently of 332, of which 239 of these are union based. We have two main unions, mechanical union representatives and electrical representatives, and we have very close ties with those two unions, including the fact that they undertake training for us as part of the program that we've initiated with them. So again, it's partnerships is a key buzzword. We've got partners of suppliers, and we've got partners also of the unions. And linking into that, we've got the partnership with the local and state governments as well, who we work very closely with. So with no further ado, I'll just take you through. So the Orange and Red Line projects, the Orange Line is well into production. We're trying to get stabilization. COVID has affected not just CRRC, but all of our supply chain, whether it be US based or worldwide. And I must give out our thanks to everybody who has supported and who has got through difficulties to ensure that we keep the production lines flowing to the best of our abilities through this difficult time. So that's a big thank you from me personally and the CRRC team. So the Orange and Red Line, we're going through stabilization. We're well into production. From an Orange Line point of view, we've got married pair 50. Married pair 50 is at station 1, and married pair 51 is preparing to go to Station 1. So that's moving on very, very well. And Red Line, we've got a number of cars in station at the moment, and we're making sure that we get Maripare 7, 8 and 9 completed and delivered to the MBTA as quickly as possible. Thank you. Next slide. So the next project that we've got in Springfield is the HR 4000 for the LA Metros, for LA Metro. This is 64 vehicles. And as you can see by the photograph, we've got the first cars of the LA Metro. Maripare 3 is at Station 1, and Maripare 3 is at Station 2 in production, and Maripare 4 is at Station 1. So again, we're going through the ramp-up stage of getting the HR 4000 project running as smoothly as the orange line as quickly as possible, the orange and red line as quickly as possible. Thank you. And finally, we have the Scepter project for Philadelphia. This is for 45 double-deckers. Double-deckers are new to Springfield, but again, these are cars that are being designed, but they'll in China, and we'll be building them here in Springfield. And from a timeline point of view, we've got the first 2 cars going through build in China to prove out the designs and undertake all the testing. And as soon as we get that completed, we'll be shipping cars, the first cars, to Springfield to start manufacture. Thank you. So that's a bit of a background of the projects. So if I may, I'll just hand you back to Lydia for the next step. And then I'll—
Thank you, Eamon. Yeah, so Eamon will return in a minute. We're just going to begin the next phase of our forum, beginning with the supplier presentations and discussion format. Back to you, Eamon.
Right, okay, thank you. I'll try and keep this. So the format will be, we've invited a number of prime suppliers, because it's important that we've not just got our developing suppliers, but also our prime suppliers. So I'm very pleased to welcome one of our key partners from the Wabtec Group family, Mr. Sadler, William Sadler, otherwise known as Bill, and Mr. Robert Devaney from MEPI. These 2 gentlemen are an integral part of our partnership and are key suppliers into CRRC, delivering quite detailed and complex product. So I would like, if I may, to just ask Bill, on behalf of the Wabtec family, to say a few words about the Wabtec family and just introduce yourself to the gathered audience, please, Bill.
Great, thank you, Eamon. Can you hear me okay, Eamon and Lydia?
Indeed, I can. Thank you.
Great. So yeah, let me just keep it brief. But first of all, let me thank Eamon and Lydia for this invitation, and of course, welcome to all the participants that are on the call. Again, just a very brief introduction of Wabtec Corporation. You know, we're very pleased to be working with CRRC MA, not only on the MBTA project, but also on the SEPTA and LA projects, which are to come. So we are, again, very, very happy to be a major supplier and partner of CRRC MA. Again, just a little bit of a background. Our map is clearly not as broad as Eamon's map, but WebTech has got a very wide ranging supply and operations within the United States and Canada that's supporting CRRC MA. You know, we've got facilities, 2 different facilities in South Carolina, one that does the brake and coupler system, and we have a representative or representatives from our WAPTech Transtech division, also located in South Carolina, that's doing the current collection as well. And they'll be speaking here when I conclude. But we're also providing our door systems, our HVAC systems, the event recorder system. So again, we're very, very pleased to be able to have this type of involvement in with CRRC MA and these 3 major transit systems around the country. The topic of today's meeting, obviously, in the forum is DBE, WBE, and MBE. And as Lydia pointed out, you know, the focus on diversity is becoming much more widespread. And WebTech Corporation has got a commitment, not only to CRRC MA, but the entire transit industry to provide this level of diversity and a commitment to maximize where we possibly can the involvement of disadvantaged business enterprise, minority business enterprise, and women-owned business enterprise. And we will continue to do that going forward. So again, that's a very brief summary. Again, WAPTEC's commitment to these projects, to CRRC MA, as well as the whole transit industry. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Eamon and Lydia. And again, thank you for the invitation to participate, okay?
That's lovely, Bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Words. John Adkins, are you online? Would you like to add anything further to what Bill said from the WABTEC family point of view?
Yes, sir, Eamon and Lydia. It's a pleasure to be invited back once again. I've participated. This will be my 3rd visit for CRC's diversity program and all like that. And it's always a pleasure to meet people. It's always a pleasure to do business with CRRC. Again, the last time we had just moved into this new beautiful facility in 2018, 2019, my last visit when we had this event in Yonkers. Again, now I am responsible for not only Transtech, but also Microfor that was transitioned in from one of our facilities in California. Again, we are third rail pantograph carbon collectors from the electrical power transfer systems, as well as Microfor on the waste and sanitation sides. Predominantly our areas, molded rubber, polyester, and glass components, sand castings. We were able to find a couple of great DBE suppliers from one of my previous visits that has helped us out in small volume fabrications, which is kind of hard to get nowadays. Most everybody's looking for your much larger bills and things like that. So this event did pay benefits for Transtech and Microfor as a whole. Stainless steel, plastic, and chemical products as well. Machining, welding, brazing, and wiring, we're always looking for opportunities across the board for that as well. And again, I like to say that CRRC always puts on a phenomenal event, whether it's via virtual or on site, and it's always one of those events that I look forward to each year. And just want to thank you, Eamon and Lydia, again for the invitation.
That's lovely, John. Thank you for that, and I'm really encouraged the fact that we are getting feedback that events that are conducted have a positive outcome, and that really cements what we're trying to do today. And we need, now that we're going through, and hopefully we're going through the other side of the COVID situation that we've all had to live with for the last 2.5 years, etc., that these opportunities will help us all grow and repair the wounds that have been caused to all of our businesses by the COVID situation. Okay, so John, that's lovely, thank you. Now, Samantha, did you want to say anything to add to what Bill has said and John has said?
Yes, I just want to say I totally agree with Bill and John on their comments, and it is a pleasure to be invited to this reform.
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Samantha. Thank you.
Yeah, and Eamon, it looks like we have one other representative from Wabtec on the call. We have João Alves from our Wabtec Passenger Transit Division in South Carolina, where we're doing, as I mentioned, the brakes and the couplers. So I don't know, João, if you want to say a few words, it's entirely up to you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes, guys, thanks for the invitation. It's my first time on the event with the CRRC. So my absolutely pleasure and support to the conversations that we're gonna have here. Again, fully agree with what my colleagues said, and again, thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you so much for your support, everybody from the Wabtec family. That's really good and very encouraging. So next, I'd like to welcome to the call Mr. Robert Devaney from MEPI. Myself and Robert work very, very closely to resolve some issues that we've got, as I do with most of our suppliers. And I'd like to welcome Robert, if you'd like to just introduce yourself to the gathering and tell us a little bit about MEPI.
Sure. Thank you very much, Eamon and Lydia. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to such a worthwhile endeavor such as this. My name is Robert Devaney. I am the Program Section Manager here at Mitsubishi Electric Power Products, Inc. That's why we go by MEPI. It's a bit of a mouthful there. But we are a wholly owned subsidiary of Mitsubishi Electric. My division here at MEPI is the Transportation System Division. So we're responsible for, any transportation type contracts in North America for Mitsubishi Electric. We have two divisions within my division or transportation. We have our MEPI Rail Products and MEPI Rail Services. MEPI Rail Products is the division I work for. We provide, equipment for primarily new builds, new orders that range from light rail vehicles, heavy rail vehicles, and freight trains. The contract that we have with CRRC is for the MBTA Red and Orange Line project. Just quickly, I'll roll back to the MRS, MEPI Rail Services. That's basically for our service division. It's based out of Melville, New York, and MEPI Rail Products is here in Pittsburgh. For the MBTA Red and Orange Line program, the auxiliary power supply, the propulsion system, the vehicle monitoring system, and the wayside server. So those are four very large systems to manage and supply to CRRC. We are also, as from a more North America approach, we are also involved with contracts with BART in San Francisco. We've also worked for SEPTA. We've worked for Denver, and we're certainly have a lot of work in New York City as well. Our main as I said, we're supplying the APS propulsion system, VMS, and wayside server for the red and orange line. But our offerings also include HVAC systems, and most recently, we are supplying the communication-based train control for the Queens Boulevard East project for New York City. That's a brief introduction. Again, Eamon and Lydia, thank you for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the program.
That's lovely, Robert. Thank you. So we wanted to start the presentation with some of our key primes. It's important to recognise their partnership and their support, and we have invited a number of companies who are on the up and up. They're really developing as companies, and we wanted to recognise that by inviting them to this event so that they could present who they are, what they do, and what potentially could be available to some of our primes. Okay, as we said at the beginning, this is the inaugural event of this type. We would have liked to have done it face to face, but you know, we took the sensible approach of people having to travel, and also the various regulations, etc., relating to health. So we took the view that we'd try and do it by Zoom, and so far I'm very pleased of the openness and the spirit of working together that is being seen by everybody who's been speaking so far. So if we may, then we will move to the next stage of the presentation or the forum, which is to allow some of our key suppliers to be introduced to the primes, to the tier 1 suppliers. And again, we're using this forum as a catalyst to introduce and offer the potential of working with some of the larger companies, if you're not already, or making yourself known. We recognise, and certainly as the procurement director, I recognise it is always difficult to get that foot in the door, to get that name of a person who you need to speak to. So we wanted to facilitate the growth and the partnership in this manner. So we'll now we'll just go through. So we'll each of the suppliers will present their company. The floor is open to them. At the end of each presentation, there'll be a short period, however long we need, and if anybody's got a question they'd like to raise, then please do so. We will pause between each presentation, and I'll call the next person to speak. But if you do have any questions, can you please use the format as indicated by Lydia, or put a message forward, and Lydia or myself can ask the question. Is that okay? So without further ado then, could we call on Laurie to present on behalf of ALR? Laurie, over to yourself.
So this is Bob Barnes. I'm going to Laurie's driving. Laurie's on the call, but she's driving. So I will. I'm her director of engineering and sales. So
okay, Bob, that's lovely. Thank you.
Yes. Lydia and Eamon, thank you for inviting us. We're happy to be here.
Great to see you, Bob.
So we ALR we've been involved for 7 years, and we were at the original rollout meeting in the 16th floor in Boston. So we've been from the beginning. We focus on cable assemblies, connectors, box builds, electrical components, engineering, PC assemblies. But one of the first jobs we did was the production, when they were building the factory, we did the power cables coming off the floor to the trains when they were doing the assembly work. So that's pretty much what we've done. We've really not done any of the major production business, and we would really like to get more involved. And I have an example of something that we can do from like even an engineering standpoint and involved in our manufacturing capability. On my, I'm always at CRRC in Springfield on the factory floor with some other products I'm working on there, but I see some savings like in the Mitsubishi area where they're using a lot of lug nuts. We have a product where we could probably cut that time in half. And I'd like to know if there was anyone there that I could talk to. Robert, you just were speaking earlier. If there's anyone that I could speak to about, assembly time savings. So when we get,
Sure, you've got my contact info, or I'm sure it'll be provided. Yeah, I would certainly take a look at that. That would be, of course, a process that
right,
we'd have to support through CRRC.
Right. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say about ALR. And we've been involved a long time. I think we're underutilized, really. There's more for us to do for you guys.
Okay, Bob, thank you for that. And that's probably a side that we hadn't included into the presentation format for today, the improvement side. So I welcome that and thank you. So as Robert said, we will be, as part of this presentation, putting together a list of all of the contact people who have taken the trouble to take part on the call, and we'll be providing that to everybody in attendance. So there will be the ability to, for yourself, Bob, to get in touch with Robert and maybe start that discussions that will then allow Robert's team to come to the CRRC and potentially make a proposal to make an improvement. That's all part of a partnership. So
right.
That's facilitating and bringing everybody together. That's what we want to do as part of this. So thank you. That's an excellent.
Yeah, and I got a couple more things I wanted to add, please.
Yes,
we were
sure.
one of the very first audits. We ended up getting a score of 96 on our audit score. We're talking like 5-6 years ago when we were one of the first vendors they audited. I think we were the first vendor. And it's something we're proud of, but again, we've never underutilized. There's also one thing I wanted to talk about. I think it's unique how the trains are built. They come with cables already run through the train, and the workers in Springfield are putting the connectors on while the train is in the air. I find that unique. And in the area of how do you high pot test everything while it's running through the train, and if you have a failure, that's a difficult situation. I have some great ideas on assembly stations that could be designed for elevating underneath the train to make. I mean, it's difficult for for a worker to populate, a 50-pin connector over their head under a train.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
There's many things that we could help you guys with there.
No, Bob, this is exactly what I wanted to do. So when we get to the final slides, you'll have my contact details.
All right.
I suggest what we do is take this and have a separate discussion, because it's important. It's an important thing that we can use and potentially develop internally. So I thank you for your comments.
All right.
There's a potential there of making improvements. And again, it's a side, it's an offshoot of what we're doing today, but an important offshoot. So thank you for your comments.
All right.
Let us meet up and we'll discuss it in more detail.
Okay. Yep. Thanks.
That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So obviously Bob's just finished there. Does anybody have any further questions or any questions for Bob? If not, then we can move on to the next company. So I'd like to welcome Maureen Powers from Landstar Global Logistics. Maureen is working very, very hard and her team to support CRRC on a day-to-day basis. So Maureen, would you like to take us through your slide?
Good morning. Thank you, Eamon and Lydia. I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yes, indeed, I can. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for the invitation. I have been in the freight transportation business for over 25 years, and I started my Landstar franchise 13 years ago. I immediately got certified as a women-owned business and disadvantaged business enterprise. And I'm happy to say that CRRC was my very first contract as a DBE. And I first met a representative from a consulting firm for CRRC back in 2014 or 2015 at a hotel in Quincy before you even had your space in downtown. So I think I was one of the first people on board trying to get my foot in the door with CRRC. With that being said, I started doing some small shipments to China for you when you did open your Summer Street location. And from there, it has just evolved to shipping domestically and internationally from Springfield to Springfield, ocean, air, dedicated truck, LTL, customs brokerage. So as a certified DBE on behalf of the MBTA, CRRC has been a great fit for my small woman-owned business. At the bottom of my slide, I am certified in quite a few states and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. And with my team, we've been really been able to help CRRC quite a bit, and you've been a great asset for our firm also. So I can't thank you enough for the opportunity of what we've been working with over the years and for the future to come.
That's lovely, Maureen, and thank you for your support. And
one more thing I forgot to add. We do have a warehouse in Connecticut where we do quite a bit of storage on behalf of CRRC.
Right, that's excellent, Maureen. Thank you. And again, the companies that we've invited to this event, there may be some competition, there may be some friendly rivalry. It's not a case of putting people against each other. These are our suppliers. These are our important suppliers, and the prime companies out there, or even the suppliers who are making a presentation. It's important that you've got the flexibility and the potential to use other suppliers. So you may see some people on the slideshow, and you think, well, they're a direct competition of ours. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to cement some relationships and to offer the potential, and CRRC really endorsed doing that. So Maureen, thank you very much for your words and your explanation. Does anybody have any questions for Maureen? No? Okay, so that's fine. So that helps me. We move on a little bit more efficiently. So could I now introduce Tyrone, please? Tyrone, would you like to give us an overview of your company and a little bit about yourself, etc., to the gathered? And as we said to Bob when he was talking, there is opportunity at the end of the presentations when the presentations have been completed, and we pass out contact information for people to get together should they see a potential. So Tyrone, can I pass over to yourself?
Absolutely. I'm here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys very much for inviting me. Obviously, I'm Tyrone Reeves, and I'm the owner of Trueform Manufacturing. Trueform is a precision sheet metal fabrication and welding company, as well as CNC machining and a mechanical assembly company in Rochester, New York. I started the company 30 years ago. August of this year will be our 30th year in business. You know, obviously in 30 years, we've learned a lot. We've made some mistakes, we've made some developments, and we've made some great strides in that 30-year period. But it has been a wonderful 30 years, and we're looking forward to the future and growing. When I started Trueform, we basically did basic sheet metal brackets, and we've kind of evolved over the years. And in order to survive, you know, we had to add other value-added services. And with those value-added services, we kind of added CNC machining with that fabrication and welding. We also have our own internal painting facility. So we do both wet spray paint, powder coat, as well as a lot of the pre-treatment services. Our entire concept has been being very, very, very cost competitive. That's one of the things we strive for each and every day. Obviously, quality service. Our last 5 years, we have not had a reject in over 5 years. And that's a record we're very, very proud of. And we have not had a late delivery in 5 years due to us. Now, with that said, we have a certain size range and volume range that we work with. We are not a high volume supplier. We will work with a quantity of one piece annually, up to maximum of about 5,000 pieces, depending on the size. Our sweet spot is about 2,000 pieces a year annually. Obviously, based on the complexity and the size of that volume restriction will change, larger or smaller based off of that. Size-wise, we only work with a certain niche. We work within a 6 foot by 6 foot window and smaller. So we do not do 10 foot, 20 foot parts. You'll see on our equipment list that you'll see some equipment that's 10 feet, 12 feet in size. Absolutely, we have the equipment, but we've survived for so many years by identifying exactly what we do and how we do it. That's kind of in a nutshell what we do. We service a number of different industries. We also survive in our area. I started up a training program with our city and our county, and we started just going into the prisons, the high schools, and everywhere, and started training people to manufacturing. And that's where we get much of our entry-level population for job training from. If we fill our entry-level positions, our attitude is eventually those guys are going to turn into middle skills employees. And that's also a huge, huge issue for us as well as everyone in our region, finding those experienced middle level positions. I just took the approach and said, you know what, let's not whine, let's not cry about it. Let's fill all of our entry level positions and let's see where we're at in 5 years. So from our perspective, we're in pretty good shape from a talent basis standpoint. But that's kind of who we are and what we do very, very briefly, very quickly. We'd love to work with any of you guys. Obviously, we're new to many of you and all of you. So wherever we start is where we start. You know, in many cases, you guys already have your approved vendor bases intact. So when you're someone from the outside looking in, you have to start wherever there's a beginning. If you have other suppliers who are struggling with capacity, we'll support you there. Even if you don't plan on moving those parts, we'll help you work with them to keep your continuity of supply intact. That's how you begin a relationship. And that, in my opinion, over these 30 years, it begins with confidence and trust. If you have confidence that the things we say we will do, and when we do make a mistake, you won't be the last to find out, you'll be the first. Then you build that rapport with your vendors and you can grow with them and grow with your customers from there. So that is what we do. That's what we offer. So thank you very much for inviting us.
So Tyrone, hey, thank you for that. That was really powerful. I'd like to commend you for the way that you look at staffing and looking to train people. That is really important to further not just the business, but the state and also the country. So that's really, really important. And I commend you for that. And congratulations for the 30 years that's coming up.
Thank you. Thank you. And also, Eamon, to go along with your point, many of the folks, the companies that hire, they're what we traditionally call competitors. So they come and hire students. In our world, there's no such thing as a competitor. In my world, we meet your requirements, we'll get opportunities. If we don't meet your requirements, we will not. That's just life. So
indeed, yeah, Tyrone. And as I depicted when we first started, we've got a number of projects that are well into production. So as you recognized, a lot of our prime suppliers, major suppliers, will have their supply chain. But they've, as you've identified, they may have sourcing problems. They may have a need to dual source for a period of time. So you, in what you've said, gives a good potential of a backup supplier. And again, as you said, you've got to start somewhere. And starting somewhere gets your name known, the quality of your product, and that's how you grow going forward. What we're trying to do today isn't a quick fix. This is the start of a relationship that we're trying to develop and help people to develop. So my congratulations for your story and your business where you are now, and keep it up. That's really important, because we're a startup. You know, we've only been building for a few years. We're still setting people on, we're training them, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're very much in the same, we're cut from the same cloth, business-wise. So I congratulate you. Does anybody have any questions for Tyrone?
wonderful.
Right, okay. That's fine, that's fine. So again, I'll just reiterate the fact that there'll be contact details after this, so that we'll
That's not us.
when you've got that. Do you remember that CR held? There was 2 people that may be of use to us. So that's what we want. We want that catalyst to potentially grow and partnership your businesses. So Mike, are you on the line from WEI?
Yes, I am, and thank you. It's
Mike,
nice to
good
meet
morning.
everyone virtual.
Yes, yeah. Mike, thanks very much for joining us. Would you like to please follow the format that everybody else has followed, which I think has been successful, because it gives you the opportunity to tell us about your company and tell everybody on the call about your company, and then we can go into any questions afterwards, if we may. Okay, thanks, Mike. Over to you.
Yeah, sounds like a plan, and thanks again. So my name is Mike Thweet, and I work with a company called WEI, headquartered out of Salem, New Hampshire. WEI is an IT value-add reseller, specializing in really all things data center, network security, and cloud. We've been very fortunate to work with CRRC of Massachusetts for a few years now. And where we've been able to help is in the server infrastructure, as well as the supporting networks. So think wired and wireless networking and office and warehouse locations, as well as more recently, we've been helping for the design of the wireless in the cars. So we're very fortunate and proud of that. We are a minority-owned business, and we've been recognized for that really throughout the country by the Greater New England and National Council, as well as by our customers. That's all I have for you today, but I welcome any questions. And again, thank you for your time.
Mike, no, that's very important. And you know, as we said at the beginning, we want a diverse supply chain. You know, we value our suppliers. So thank you for taking the trouble this morning to join us, and the opportunity to obviously tell the gathered about your company. It's important. So does anybody have any questions for Michael? No? Okay. So again, as we've said at the conclusion of each slide, the important thing is that we get the contacts out to people, and maybe there can be some dialogue between each of the parties as an introduction separately to this. But it's good to put a face and a name, link them together. It breaks that initial barrier. So that's great. Okay, so if I may now, could I call upon Mr. Cutting, Mr. Mark Cutting, from C&D Electronics Inc. Again, before Mark makes a presentation to us, Mark has been very supportive to CRRC. He's a local Holyoke-based supplier, which is very close to Springfield. Mark has been with us since the beginning, and has supported, as I say, with material and with support, let's call it that. So Mark, good morning, are you there? And yes. I'd like to welcome you to our forum, and I hand the screen over to you, sir.
Good morning, Eamon. Thank you so much for inviting me, Lydia, as well. It's good to see your faces. Look forward to seeing you again in person. Yes, so C&D Electronics, like others had mentioned, we've been interfacing with CRRC since back in 2016, working with engineering, developing some specs to get approved on these applications. We supported the red and orange line with components. We are also on the LA Metro program, supporting a lot of the irradiated cable and components that go on that application. As Eamon mentioned, we're a Holyoke-based company. I started the company back in 1982, and we are a component distributor, board level components for the aerospace defense industry, Mil-Aero. We support the commercial manufacturing space, as well as transit and construction. So we do touch and cut across multiple industries. We are a minority owned company, HubZone certified, and we are also certified across the country through the New England Council and the National Council. We are also we supply our customer base on a global basis. So we are far-reaching. From a quality perspective, we are an AS 9120, so we're at the highest level of quality in our industry. We are super excited about this today, because I think it's great to be able to meet with the other supply chain folks. It's important to see what synergies may be there. We certainly are looking to, grow our footprint with other customers, but and obviously grow our footprint within CRRC as programs mature and new programs come on board. If there's anything that we can do, to help your supply chain, again, you talked about potential shortages. I know you had mentioned ALR. I see they populate boards. So if you're looking for components, we are a fully stocking we fully stock inventory here in our Holyoke facility. We also are working with CRRC on a VMI program to cut across their manufacturing demand to be able to get their product to them quicker, easier, and cost effectively. So, we are continuing to, share our core competencies as Eamon mentioned earlier. We're right down the road, and we're excited about the continued relationship here with CRRC.
Mark, thank you for those words. And just to reiterate the fact that Mark, as I used to use in a sporting terminology, Mark has helped us, and his company has helped us on and off the field with delivery of material and supporting us with various initiatives that have been taking place without going into too much detail. But we thank that. So next, I'd like to ask Precision Engineering, Leora. I hope the pronunciation is correct.
Yes, thank you. My name's Leora Stone. I'm president of Precision Engineering Incorporated. We're a custom sheet metal fabricator of custom sheet metal components and assemblies for large original equipment manufacturers like the companies, the prime contractors here today. We have a 34-year history of servicing these customers and have been with most of our clients for decades, some 20, 25 years. We actually met CRRC back when the MBTA was just proposing the program in Boston. And then we were also one of the early people meeting in hotel rooms and helping with those early design stages, meeting Lydia. And so we early on were honored to be able to do work on some different kinds of plates, array plates, angles, stiffening plates, and brackets. We kind of lost touch with our buyer and haven't seen anything recently, so we're excited and honored to be invited today. We know that the important thing for our OEMs, because we're an integral partner to them, like the previous sheet metal fabricator alluded, we're making your parts, and we understand that quality, delivery, and price are really the top three things that you guys worry about, and then everything else is icing on the cake. And so we too have an integrated management system that incorporates AS9100 level quality, aerospace level quality, information security, environmental management, and safety under this one pillar. And we are certified to these multiple programs as part of that. We are able to service the customer through from design for manufacturability, which is what we started with early on with CRRC, right through prototyping, doing things like the qualifying paperwork, the PPAPs and the APQPs that you guys all need, and then going into low, medium, and high volume production runs. We're a little bit different than the sheet metal fabricator that was on before, but I think complementary to him. I think there's a place for both of us, like you were alluding to, Eamon. We're going to be able to do some of the laser cutting. We are able to process all types of metal, including stainless and galvanized and aluminum and all the different kinds of metals, exotic metals as well, from 0.012 inches thin up to 1 inch thick. So we do have quite a wide range of capability, and then we'll process it all through as a one-stop shop. We generally don't need to outsource any operation, and we also powder coat in-house as well with an automated powder coating line, 425-foot automated powder coating line with automatic guns, and an integrated water treatment system.
617.
I'll keep going. That's really about pretty much what I've had to say. We're located here in central Massachusetts, about 45 minutes from Springfield and about 45 minutes from Boston. So right on your way as you're delivering the trains, you can stop and get some parts. So we look forward to working with all of you. And by the way, we've met with several people from Wabtec a couple of years ago, but we were never able to reconnect with them. So I'm really interested in maybe beginning a dialogue with some of the Wabtec and even the Mitsubishi people. That would be awesome. We would really be honored. Thank you.
Leora, thank you for that. And that again cements what we were trying to say earlier. You know, as Bob raised, you know, from ALR, a lot of the supply chains are fixed. So you being involved with things from the early stages and helping get the business up and running, it's important that we pay that back now. And this is part of that to help you develop. And it may be, as Bob suggested, that you can come into us and we can have further discussions about improvements or talk to our technology who are always. So I welcome the words that you've said, and I really appreciate it. And thank you for what you've done so far to support us. That's
thank you.
Really, really good. Does anybody have any specific questions?
Eamon, this is Lydia. I don't have a question, but I just have to say, Leora, it's great to see you. And I echo Eamon's sentiments. I mean, it's so good to see a women business enterprise do so well. And also, as being with CRRC and even being in the business as long as you have is quite inspiring. You, Mark Codding from C&D, and others that have been with CRRC through the ups and downs from the beginning. And now we're really seeing the fruits of our labor. And we made it through COVID. It's just really good. It's great to see you. I'm so happy that your business is thriving. Or you're
yes, and you look great. Maureen, and hi to Maureen too, because we saw her early on.
Yes, Maureen, exactly. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's great. And the level of discussion, we wanted it to be open. We wanted it to be not formal, and we really appreciate that because relationships are so important to all of us. It will help all of us survive and improve going forward. And that's why we took the first opportunity we could to get everybody together to do this event. So thank you for that. So does anybody have any further questions, or shall I move on? No? Okay, that's lovely. So the next company that I'd like to introduce is Walker. Walker are one of our biggest support companies for moving things. I'm sure the guys will go into more details. So we've got Emmett on the line, and we rely on companies like this. They are the backbone of our business. They ensure that we get cars, we get deliveries, and we get material transported. And again, in these difficult times of ships that disappear off the routes and create us big headaches, we're all trying to find solutions that give us a smoother operation. So again, if I may, I'd like to hand over to Emmett. And Emmett, would you like to present Walker to us?
So before I start, I got here late and I apologize for that. So I get up Courtney to speak. I'll have him speak and then I'll butt in afterwards if you don't mind.
That's lovely. Thank you.
All right, great. Good morning, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'm Courtney Codding, Vice President of Sales for Walker. So So just to kind of give you just a brief overview, Walker's been around since 1989, concentrated mostly in two specific areas. One that we will call what we reference as four-wall, which is, warehouse solutions, right? We take product, we do something to it, we add a specific amount of value add to that particular specific product, and then prepare for shipment. Then on the transportation pieces, which you guys mostly know us as, we do considerable amount of air and ocean transportation with supporting functions and customs brokerage, and very detailed solutions specific to your needs. So from that standpoint, there's really two segmented lines of businesses. We're currently located in over 14 states, with over 25 countries worldwide, supported by significant partnerships. Within the North American footprint, we have roughly around 2.1 million square feet, and very significant presence in about 7 different industries, from pharma to industrial, automotive, aviation, consumer goods, and industrial is where we would segment your business. We don't have any current projects going on right now, but we have specifically launched 3 new segments of business in the last 90 days. One is in a new 475,000 square foot facility in Louisville, Kentucky, where we will be supporting the automotive sector. And another facility, which isn't on here, which is GE Aviation in Kansas. Very different program for us, but very excited to launch that as well. And then the third piece that I wanted to call out is the J&J relationship that we have going on now. It's not new business, but due to COVID, due to other circumstances that are going on with labor shortages and everything else, the volumes have increased so much that it's not necessarily a change in scope or a change in CRRC. What it is a change in velocity. The velocity has gone up so much due to COVID and the amount of responses that we have to do to support our clients, such as yourself. So, and then below, you'll see a significant amount of certifications that we have. We're also certified MBE. We've heard that several times with many of the other attendees on the call. Significant ISO 9000 presence. And then I won't go through each of the other individual certifications, but just to kind of give you a summary of where we are and where our footprint and what we look forward to as we move towards expanding our relationship with you. So I turn it over to Emmett. Emmett, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so thank you, Courtney. I understand Mitsubishi is on. That's how we got our introduction to CRRC early on. As someone said, when we were meeting in hotel rooms, Mitsubishi, with a long-term relationship with them, gave us the introduction. And we've been working with you from the beginning, the first real car coming in from China. So it's been quite a while, and it's been a very good relationship, and we thank you for the opportunity and look forward to continuing to serve you.
We work with you every day, so.
Yes, you do. And Ivan, Katz, congrats on having a comment after everyone that has presented. So that could be tough.
That's putting me on the spot there. Think of a good one now. I'll try and carry on. I won't be as good as Ricky Gervais, but I will try to make a very relevant comment. And as I've said, people have supported CRRC, and we appreciate it. We're going through many learning curves. Are we perfect? No. We've caused a lot of issues. We've tried to resolve those issues in a transparent manner. But I think when you look at all rail business is quite bespoke. It's not an automotive where you run for 10 or 15 years. The build programs are a lot shorter, and making everything happen at the right time sometimes can cause hair loss, worry, and maybe in some cases difficulty at home. So, you know, we have to take these things into consideration, and I really do appreciate everybody who has had big, medium or small input into what CRRC have done for the MBTA and then the HR 4000 project so far. We build to go forward, and that's really important for our business and for all of your business as well. And, you know, we hope to develop what we've done today and make it a regular occurrence dependent upon people's calendars, because it's important. You know, it's important to get product out of the door, yes, but it's also important, as somebody said, to cement those relationships and make us all stronger. Okay. Right. So, and thank you everybody so far where we've got to. So if I may now, I'd like to call upon. I'm sorry, I've got my sheet messed up.
Oh, I have it. So
No, it's all right. I've got it. I've got
Okay.
it. So Rory, are you online from Fastenal?
I am. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
That's lovely. Thank you, Rory. Rory, again, Fastenal have been supporting CRRC. Fastenal are a large organization, a very important organization, and we've tried to get a very good spread of supply chain, whether it's direct material to build the vehicle or whether it's transportation of materials around the country and globally, but also for those companies that support us, because without that support and without that material to actually enable us to put the cars together or to help function the business, we won't operate. And Fastenal are one of those companies. So if I may, Rory, I'll pass over to you, and would you please just give everybody an insight as to yourself and what you can offer. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, Eamon, appreciate the introduction, and Lydia, thanks for the invite. So Fastenal really, we started with CRRC quite some time ago. I don't know the exact, I think it was the 2015, 2016 timeframe. And so Fastenal really, if for those that you that don't know us, is a full-on industrial supplier, and really kind of from a solutions-based approach. You know, so we distribute product, but it's really about how we get it to you, and you know, the different cost-saving solutions and efficiency gain solutions that we can bring along with it, whether it's involving technology all the way up to on-site partnership and right through to integrated source to pay type of solutions. We've really enjoyed the relationship with CRRC and have a lot of experience in the rail car and transportation industry for sure, nationwide. We have a really big footprint here in North America. We were founded in 1967 in Winona, Minnesota, and we've kind of grown from there over the last little bit, the last 60 or so years, to really become a full-line industrial supplier, working on a majority of MRO and OEM, direct, indirect materials, to kind of keep the world going around and put everything together. So with CRRC, we've been working on a few of the projects from a fastener and engineering standpoint, and then also to Eamon's point there with the items like drill bits and some safety supplies and material handling and so on to really manufacture and make sure that employees are safe and so on. We do a lot of different things, so I can't take up too much time, but we have some manufacturing centers across the US. We're in 26 different countries, lots of global sourcing, lots of domestic sourcing, a really strong buyer's guide. I actually just pulled the data, and I think we shared it with Lydia for the minority-owned business and just basically diversity in general. In Q1 with CRRC, we had about 45% of our concept or of our sales with you were through that diverse concept. So we look forward to supporting more in the future, and we're really excited and appreciate the partnership we're able to gain. So thanks for the invite, and appreciate everybody being on here.
Rory, that's excellent. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions for Rory?
So Eamon, this is Lydia. Before we move on to the next section, could we provide Lewis Kaufman a moment? He just came in a little late and wasn't able to provide a slide.
Yes, certainly. So Lewis, would you like to just give us a quick overview of your business, Kaufman, and everybody will be here, and what we will do, Lewis, is that we will add to the presentation notes your contact details, and we've recorded this gathering, so what we'll do is we'll put some relevant notes onto a slide for you, and again, it's important that we get all of the suppliers who can make it to to have this opportunity. So Lewis, over to yourself.
Oh, thank you very much, Eamon. Am I coming through?
Yes, you are, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. I just wanted to introduce myself and everybody here to Kaufman Company. We're a third, now going on our fourth generation industrial distributor. We've been in Massachusetts doing business, servicing industry since 1929. We are a full line industrial distributor. We have a very wide array of products and services we provide. We work with some of the biggest names, biggest names in industry in New England, including Raytheon and General Dynamics. I'm sure there are many areas of commonality. We can come together to help save you guys money and come up with process improvements. We are part of the Affiliated Distributors Buying Group, which allows us to be very competitive with some of the biggest, top tier MRO and tool manufacturers in the country. We've been doing business with CRRC for a few years, hoping to expand our footprint. And if there's anything that anybody needs in terms of products, we also have a very strong program. We do put stuff on consignment if the situation is right. And I just hope that we can continue this conversation in any time, any place. I'm pretty much always available. Thank you very much.
That's excellent. Thank you. And thank you for taking the trouble to take part and say those words. That's very important. And I know that my procurement team are using your company in various applications for things that you've got on offer, and I really appreciate what you've done to help us so far. Okay, so I'm very conscious.
Excuse me, Eamon.
Oh, sorry.
I do have KTA LLC is here. I think we may have overlooked his comments.
Hey, Lydia, how are you? This is Rich Argentieri.
Yes, how are you?
Now, for some reason, you didn't get my slide. I'm not sure what happened there.
Oh,
yeah.
But I would like to send it in so maybe you can add it to the presentation.
Of course. My apologies.
Okay.
I'll look back in my email chain. Thank you.
Must have been technical difficulties. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank
Rich,
you.
so the wonders of modern science and modern technology. So we apologize about that.
It was made to make our lives easier, and sometimes it doesn't.
Indeed. But in the words of the music hall, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and hello, everybody. TTA Transit Air we've been in the business for 38 years as an integral and major player in transit. So with that said, I won't go through everything we've done over 38 years, or I would need my own forum to do that. So I'll have to set that up on the side. But over those 38 years, we're DBE and MBE certified, and that's really not our selling point. Our selling point is that we don't have a single niche. Our niche is A to Z on a car. We've touched just about every system, if not every system on the car. We've worked for all the major transit authorities, all the major car builders, and major suppliers like WabTech. So just to run through briefly, I don't want to take up a lot of time, but we have several different business lines, and I won't go into each one. I'll just try to highlight them. We're electrical subsystem, harness builders, assemblies, propulsion, catenary, converters, inverters. We do several mechanical systems. And again, I could go through what all those mean, but I can send you a presentation after. So HVAC systems, new and overhaul, HVAC controls, trucks, new and overhaul, truck assemblies, truck repair. We also do wayside equipment. We are very integral in assembly and testing of wayside signal equipment. We are also sheet metal fabricators. So that's just to name a few of the things that we have done over the 4 decades that we've been in business. But some of the value add aside from that is we have a strong presence in aftermarket support, engineering and design capabilities. We've set up offsite facilities in many cases to help customers with startup production, commissioning, warranty support. So, you know, in a nutshell, because we don't have that one niche, we're turnkey in several different systems, and it's really based, it comes because of our personnel, our skilled personnel, and our adaptability and flexibility to change from one component or one system to the next. And we hit the ground running. Again, 40 years of experience, and we're here to serve. So I know a lot of people out there are familiar with us. A lot of the people that have spoken are actually suppliers to us, Fastenal being one of them. So I won't go through that list either, but I really appreciate that you guys let me slide in, and I'll send you that slide again so you could just add it to the presentation, and it has my contact information on it.
Yeah, let's do that. That's great, Rich. I'll definitely add it before we post it to the website and send out an email blast to everybody with a copy of it as well. All right, Eamon.
Okay, so
I really
Rich,
appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
No, that's fine, Rich. And thank you, Lydia, for coming in there to get Rich on the call. Again, it's important. It wouldn't be the rail industry if it wasn't done at the last minute. So important. So if we can, the final, well, the sort of wrap up, because I'm very conscious of time and the fact that some company owners, business leaders have been on this call since we started at 10 o'clock. And time is very important to us all nowadays, and we seem to be run by the clock. But I really do appreciate your time that you've spent. So first of all, are there any questions that anybody would like to raise that are specific to what we've discussed this morning? If not, it's not an issue. You can privately send an email to me. We want our suppliers who have gathered to talk to each other, to look at the potential. We're catalysts. We wanted to facilitate getting to know businesses that maybe you're not aware of. And this is the start of it. So if nobody's got any questions, or has anybody got any questions?
Oh, we have one raised hand.
Yeah, very quick. In that regard, are you sharing that presentation with us? That would be very nice.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to, I will do an email blast to everyone that's on this forum with the presentation. And also I will share all the attendees' names and emails so you can interact if that's okay. If someone
Awesome.
want to do that, but that's my goal. Eamon and I discussed it earlier, right, Eamon?
Awesome.
That's correct. That's correct. So I was going to lead into that, but no, thank you. That's a valid question. So yes, we want to be transparent. We want to give the contact details, because there'd be no point in having a forum like this without giving that contact details. So I would hope that people use those contact details responsibly, and people don't get inundated with emails from God knows where. So
absolutely, thank you.
Yes, indeed. So I'll leave that to everybody's professionalism. Okay, so conscious of time, we've got a couple of minutes left. I would like your feedback. It can be one line, it can be a page, it can be whatever. If you would take the time afterwards, and it doesn't have to be today, tomorrow, next week. It can be when you've got a few minutes. If there's anything that you'd like to contribute by giving CRRC some feedback on how we've presented this morning, how we've tried to connect people. As we've said on the slide that's in front of everybody, this is a springboard. It's a springboard for partnerships. We respect our suppliers, our customers, our friends, our partners. All of those key words mean a lot to us. There are, with any relationship, you do get teething problems, you do get issues, but I think we're all professional enough to talk to each other and resolve those issues, which we've been doing. And it's not a focal point of this discussion, but it shows the partnership, and it's relevant to mention that the communication is key, both internally within CRRC, but also within our supply chain. So I really appreciate what's been done so far. So if you've please got any comments or suggestions that would assist us in our next round of events, then we welcome them, myself and Lydia. So that's really what I'd like from a supplier feedback. So as a thank you, I'm going to say a few words, and then I'm going to ask Lydia if she'd just like to also finish things. But we've touched on it many times. This is a part made reference to Kendrick Clifton at the beginning of this forum. We weren't going to carry on with the forum when we heard the sad news, but then we thought, no, this is what Kendrick would have wanted us to do. And we thank everybody who's been part of that. We will report back to the MBTA on what we've done. Hopefully we've got some representation from the MBTA who are sitting on the call. But I just wanted that time to reflect the fact that CRRC, Mr. Wong, is improving CRRC Springfield. He's making big changes to our processes, to our efficiencies, and our suppliers are a key part of that. And we wanted to say thank you, myself, and thank you for the MBTA and Clifton. It was a big part of this minorities and WMBE and process that we've been working on since the beginning of the contract. So from myself as the procurement director, I say thank you to everybody for joining us. And Lydia, would you like just to say a few words to everybody?
Yeah, I just have one, you know what I'd love to hear about? If in the future at any time, anyone on this call, any of you suppliers that maybe connect together and do business, I would love to hear if that has occurred from this type of networking event that we've done. So we could see, I guess, you know, if it accomplished what we were looking to do as far as just relationship building, but maybe there's something where some of you connect and work on a project together. So that's just my interest. So if that ever happens, if you wouldn't mind sharing that with Eamon, that'd be great. And then another thing, yes, I have to tell you that, you know, these initiatives, because of timing, because of COVID, and because of just everyday life, it's difficult to continue putting these forums together, because sometimes just people are busy doing their jobs. So I have to say that we're all operating lean these days, and you have a wonderful leader at CRRC overseeing procurement, and Eamon Walsh. It's unbelievable. He's just a collaborator, a true leader, passionate about the job, transparent. He's a great negotiator, and I feel he's always trying to balance so that both sides can benefit. So thank you, Eamon, for taking the time to help me execute this event.
No, that's lovely, and I'll just wipe the tear from my eye, Lydia. No, thank you.
Oh, Leora has her hand up, so.
Oh, sorry, Leora, would you like to?
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback onto something Lydia just said about working together as suppliers. Some of my other large OEMs, what they end up doing is they connect us. So they might have a project where there's an electronic component and a box build and whatever else, right? And they'll create a working group, and that's how we end up connecting. And then we end up working on other projects together. So that's maybe a thought.
Okay. No, that's a good input. And I'm just making a note of that. That's we've got to improve. Okay. And as I said earlier to Tyrone, as I said to you, I'll say to you now, Leora, and to Bob, there's going to be offshoots to this.
The website, Audrey.
There's Lydia. She just realized that there's going to be offshoots to this process, what we've just done today, and we're going to grow and develop. Okay, hopefully we put the COVID behind us, and it allows us to get to a bit more normality over the coming months, and then we can get back to holding events. You know, I want people to be on site here to say, Eamon, we could do that differently. We could do that maybe project, and then we can feed the United States supply chain to be as important as the worldwide supply chain that we've got into CRRC. That there's business there, people can do it. It takes the transportation out of the equation, which is causing us all a problem at the moment. So there are many opportunities, and one of the things that I'd like to do in the coming months, and we'll have to see how it goes, is to have a specific supplier day where we can have these types of conversations and improve. The last 2 years have been a nightmare for all of us, and nobody's been able to have any type of gathering or consolidation. We've all been trying to keep our businesses afloat, you know, so let's be realistic. So thank you for your comments, and as normal, I go overboard from a time point of view. So I think if anybody else has got any comments or questions?
Well, I just want to say, someone had mentioned having access to the recording. Yes, this will be on our website soon. I'll just have to talk to IT. So that's where it will be available. I'll be happy to send out an email to everyone saying that it is posted, when it is posted on our website.
Yeah, so then as a final note, and just to confirm really what Mr. Wong said, Mr. Wong's fully leading the business. He's fully behind all of the initiatives that we're doing. He sees the importance of the supply chain. He sees the importance of working together in partnerships, becoming more efficient. So from everybody at CRRC, myself, Lydia, presenting, David for being the custodian of the screens. Thank you so much. And more importantly, everybody who's taken the time from the supply chain. Like I said before, large suppliers, medium suppliers, small suppliers, you're all important. And I just want to say thank you for taking part in this morning. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
everyone.
Eamon. Thank you, Lydia.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thanks, Eamon.
Take
Thanks,
care.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
Have a
for
great
taking
day.
the
Bye-bye
time.
now.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.